Okay, look, good morning. Today I'm joined by Trisha Sloan, who currently leads the HR function with Australian icon Darrell Lea Confectionaries. She's progressed her career through a number of large brands and across varied industries, including manufacturing, FMCG, retail and pharmaceutical. Trisha is unique in that she is equally as comfortable in the boardroom as she is on the factory floor supporting operations. Trisha joins me today in the lead up to International Women's Day, where the 2022 theme is Break the Bias. Trish will be sharing her story and initiatives that she has seen in her career to break the bias. The Break the Bias movement is designed to take action to remove glass ceilings and obstacles to women's progression. This conversation specifically focusing around women's careers. Trisha, thank you so much for joining us today. If you reflect on your career over the last 15 years, how would you say Australia is doing in closing the gender gap?
Thanks, Joel. Yeah, look, I think 15 years is a long time. And so to look back to, I guess, where Australian workplaces were 15 years ago, we have come a really long way. I look back 15 years ago, I didn't know any men that were accessing parental leave to be primary carers for their children. And certainly over that 15 years, that's now become commonplace. So, it's amazing to be able to support fathers taking paternity leave to look after their children while their wives go back to work. And so I think we've made a lot of inroads. There is a way to go, yes, but I think 15 years is a very different workplace today than what it was 15 years ago.
Absolutely. And from an outsider looking in, it would appear you've progressed your career without any bias, but have you encountered bias in your career? And probably more importantly, how did you overcome it?
Yeah, look, I think most females working in a male-dominated industry certainly would have, and I personally have at different points in my career. For me, I think it's more around what you do with that. So when you do encounter those things, how you overcome it. I think one of the biggest issues in terms of that glass ceiling for women is mindset. So it's your own mindset as well as the mindset of those around you. I look back to when I was early on in my career. I've always been in roles where sometimes I was the only female in the room or in the work group. And there were times where I felt really lucky to be there, being a female. And I think that was the wrong mindset to have. I was there because I deserved to be. But I had this mindset that I had to prove as a female that I could be there. And I had to work harder than the men, and I had to put in longer hours than the men to prove my position. And I think over time, I've got to a point where that's not the case. I'm there because I have a technical skill set, and I've been chosen because I'm the right person for the role. And so I think it's that kind of continual adjusting of mindset, and you build credibility through the skill set that you have.
Yeah, amazing. Great example. And I guess thinking about HR professionals starting out in their career now, have you seen any initiatives, programs, and maybe not specific to HR, but that have been put in place to try and change the gender balance within the workplace?
Yeah, look, I think there are a lot of workplaces that do quite a bit in terms of the gender balance now, which is good. I'm personally more of a fan of the day-to-day steps to improve. So I think, launching a big initiative that might happen once a year, it doesn't create sustainable change. For me, I'm a bit of a challenger. And so if I see something on the day, I will challenge it. I can remember scenarios where maybe 10 years ago, sat in a boardroom with 6 men and myself, and they look around and go, oh, we need someone to go and get coffees. And I'm looked at. And so for me, I can remember at the time saying, so the token female is going to get the coffee. And when you challenge that mindset of people, that's generally not their intention. But when you call it out, it starts to change the way they think about these small things that they're doing. And for me, that does create sustainable change because it's a shift in mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. I think calling it out and making it obvious to the room is really powerful. I guess if you were to be talking to a young lady entering the workforce today into her first corporate role, what advice would you give? What would you say to them to set them up for success?
Back yourself, have confidence. You don't have anything to prove. You're there because you've got a skill set and you deserve to be there.
Yeah, really powerful. And finally, what do you think is still needed to break this bias in the workplace? And what do you consider to be our biggest obstacles in the Australian workplace?
I think, as I've said before, the biggest thing is mindset. And so what I think is we need more challenges. We need more people that are willing to speak out day to day. As what's the saying, the way to eat an elephant is in small bites. We need someone in every scenario that's going to put their hand up and say there's a different way to look at that and there's a better way of doing this. We need more challenges.
Amazing. Trisha, thank you so much for sharing your story and some of your insights. I think the key message we take away is back yourself. And I think everyone in the workplace can call out those little things along the way, and we probably chip away at it and continue to do so in coming years. But it's been really great to hear your thoughts and insights, and we thank you again.
Thanks, Joel.